All right, what's going on, guys? U.S. Open week, LACC hosting for the first time, par 70, 7,421 yards. And when you look at favorites this week, Brooks Koepka, to me, has got to be the absolute favorite. Look at what he's done in U.S. Opens. Two-time winner. He almost won 3 in a row. If you look at Pebble Beach in 2019, right in the mix down to the 72nd hole. Why is it that he plays so well in U.S. Opens, right? He's a great iron player. He's a solid driver, but his putting on fast surfaces around the country, it really translates to different courses, whether it's Pebble Beach, Shinnecock. I think it's going to do the same at LACC. He's got recent form in majors. He was in the final group in the last 2 majors, starting with the Masters as the 54-hole leader, and then, of course, winning at the PGA Championship. He's got the moxie. He's got the recent form going in, and he's got the game, the confidence that he needs to get another major. Look out for Brooks Koepka this week. And then Viktor Hovland, 10,000 on DFS. No one has been knocking on the door harder recently of late in major championships than Viktor Hovland. Why do I say that? Well, of the last 3 majors, he was in the final Sunday group in 2 of those, right? The Open Championship and then also the PGA Championship, the last one. What was he doing in the other one of those majors? Oh, yeah, he was in the second to last group at the Masters, where he finished tied for 7th. He has been in the hunt. He knows the pressure and the feeling of being in these big events. How has he played in other big events? Well, I don't know, T3 in the Players. He was first in Memorial, a huge, big-time PGA Tour event just a couple weeks ago. This guy's got recent form. He's 7th in scoring average. There's so many reasons why to like him. 7th in shots gained off the tee. He's a great driver of the golf ball. Here's the other thing. It's a longer course, so approaches from over 200 is a huge factor. He's 13th this week, or this year, I should say, out of the rough. Approaches from over 200. He's 3rd on the PGA Tour, so whether he's in the fairway or not, he's a guy that can play really well, generate speed with longer clubs in his hands. 21st in scrambling this year. I think that's also huge when you look at what he can do around the greens. 28th in sand saves, and then he's 21st in putts per round. So he's got the short game to go with that amazing long game as well, driving and iron play. Look out for Viktor Hovland this week. Then look beyond that. Cam Smith is at 9,000. I know you don't think he's a great U.S. Open player, hasn't finished better than 238 in his last few U.S. Opens since 2015, but wider fairways this week at LACC. That's going to help him. Plus, he was T9 in the PGA Championship, right? He was in the hunt. Really good confidence coming off of the last major championship. And look at his other starts on LIV. If you look at T9, T2, T6, and T3 in his past 4 starts, he's got recent form, which is what you need from a guy like Cameron Smith. Then lastly, what does he bring at a place like LACC in a tough U.S. Open fast greens? Well, 2nd in the field in shots gained putting in the last major at Oak Hill. So he's got that great hot putter. It's still rolling. That's going to be a huge factor this week. Look out for what Cam Smith can do for you this week. Justin Thomas, 8,700 on DFS. I like what he brings in big events. Typically, he's a big-time player. I know recently hasn't played super well, T65 at PGA, and he missed a cut at the Masters. But 9th in shots gained around the green. That's going to be a huge stat, I think, this week, just to keep the momentum going. His ability to get up and down and really stay in a round, keep that going. I think that's important. He's 15th in shots gained tee to green, so he's got the complete play with his iron play, with his driving as well. Look out for JT. And I just think he just rises to the occasion. When he gets to these bigger stages, I think this is a good opportunity for him to step up. He's got 8 top 25s in 13 events so far this year. So look out for JT this week at LACC. Corey Connors, 7,800 is where he's ranked right now. Corey Connors at 7,800. He was first in Valero, got that first win for the year, and then T8 in Wells. And then, of course, he got T12 at the PGA Championship. He was a 36-hole leader. So he's been around the lead. He's been in position in big events, right? So especially recently in the major last month, PGA Championship. He's 8th in greens and regulation. I love that stat at a U.S. Open. He can hit a lot of greens. You got to stay out of trouble, and he can do that for you. 22nd in shots gained approach, which is important as well, goes with the greens and regulation. He's 18th in shots gained total. So there's just so many different things that Corey brings to the table, and I think it starts by saving you shots coming into greens. That's so important. 18th in shots gained off the tee this year. His driver is solid. So keep an eye out on what Corey Connors can do this year. Recent form has been good. He was even in the mix at RBC Canadian Open right there, 4 back going into the final round. So this guy's got the form. Look out for Corey Connors this week. Justin Rose, I'm a big fan of this week. 7,700 on DFS. He's played so well, right? We know he's won at Pebble Beach, but beyond that, T6 at the Players, T9 at the last major of the PGA Championship, T12 at the Charles Schwab Cup, 8th at the RBC last week, Canadian Open, and he was right in the hunt coming down the stretch. So he has got recent form down for you. That's important. He's 13th in shots gained approach on the season, so his iron play solid. That helps really well. LACC, 12th in shots gained total. And I just like what he brings to the table. There's other short aspects of the short game that is good as well. His putting is solid. Shots gained putting, 22nd on the season. Around the greens, as I talked about, 31st. There's so many important things that he brings to the table, not just with his irons, but with his short game as well. That's going to help on a long week at LACC. He's 36th in total driving. So he's got the whole package: long game, iron game, and short game. Look out for Justin Rose this week at LACC. Want to finish with Denny McCarthy. Denny McCarthy last year played really well in the US Open. He ended up tied for 7th, but he had a chance on the back 9. He was really in the mix. That's going to be so important going into this week. And then, of course, what has he done recently? Yeah, he was in a playoff just 2 weeks ago at Jack's Place, a very, very difficult US Open condition kind of course, and he was able to get in the mix. So look out for Denny McCarthy. He's got recent form, and he knows how to play well in US Opens. So hope you guys enjoy this preview, and subscribe if you like the content. We'll catch up again soon.